Oh, Quinn Hughes, how amazing you are. He's great. Very, very good player. And they throw him out there in overtime for the majority of the shift because, of course, they do. They have no other choice. All these other Canucks D-men are not nearly on the same stratosphere. They can't even get into the spaceship to enter the stratosphere and planet of talent that Quinn Hughes lives on. He is a lonely, isolated human being, all on his own in terms of talent. But anyways, despite Quinn Hughes' dominance in this game against the Washington Capitals, he walks away with only 1 point and a Vancouver L. It is, one more time, a Canucks loss, this time at the hands of the Capitals 2-1 in extra time. And admittedly, heading into this matchup, I think a lot of fans were sort of saying, all right, so the Canucks lost last game against the Montreal Canadiens. It was also in overtime, by the way, so how great is that? 5-4 was the score in that one, and a lot of fans were saying, you know what, this Canucks team is going to have a run for their money, because going up against Washington, a team that is, quite frankly, bigger, heavier, stronger, they score more than Montreal, they're better, pretty much everywhere they can be better, they're better, and so when you think about the Capitals, especially with how great their record has been throughout the two tails of the tape this season, and I'm going to say two tails of the tape because they had the opening stint with Alex Ovechkin on the team, dominant, okay, great, the team was winning, Ovi was scoring, it was all fantastic, but then when Ovi went down, the team still won. And they were still getting wins, and guys were stepping up. Alexei Protosh and Lindstrom and Connor McMichael, all these guys going out there and scoring ridiculous oodles amounts of points. And then Ovi came back, and they still were winning. So with this Washington Capitals team, I think a lot of Canucks fans were hoping for a much more competitive outlook from Vancouver, a more defensively minded outlook, and a game where they could try to weather the storm against a team that's much better than Montreal. And for the most part, Vancouver did. Despite a few, let's just say, lackadaisical plays, a few careless plays here and there by the Canucks, they held Washington to only 18 shots in this game, and I would probably say that Vancouver had the majority of territorial puck possession time. And that's not to say that Washington didn't have their opportunities. Oh yeah, they absolutely did. When the Caps had possession, and when they were moving the puck around in the Canuck zone, they were doing such a good job. Crisp, quick, fast, long-distance passes in the O-zone, lots of zone time, lots of pressure, and they were able to just move the puck so elegantly and get their chances that way. Vancouver, I would say, had the majority of offensive puck control and the majority of chances, especially since they doubled almost the shots on goal. But Washington, they looked more dangerous when they did have these opportunities. On the power play, at even strength, the game was really rowdy this one, especially in the first period, but ultimately, Vancouver, they lose because of their own mistakes once again. Not necessarily from an inability to score, although you would prefer to see more than one goal and 31 total shots on goal. But at the same time, it was just that kind of a game. Both goalies were doing really good work. Kevin Lankinen was doing his job, even though he had fewer saves to make than Logan Thompson, who, by the way, was just amazing in this game. Like, Logan Thompson, I was unfamiliar with your game, man. But I guess I'm familiar with it now, despite the fact that I probably should have been. I mean, he's always been one of the better goaltenders this season statistically, and with the Capitals doing as well as they have been, there's no real surprise that the main goalie on the team, Logan Thompson, has been doing as well as he has been. But Washington, they beat out Vancouver, they weather the storm, they're able to hold on and win this game 2-1. Now, we can start out with the opening few moments of the game where at the 4:19 mark you had yourselves a whole bunch of penalties handed out to Pierre-Luc Dubois, Tom Wilson, McMichael I think got in there, and then you had Sherwood and Quinn Hughes. The Canucks had themselves a 4-minute double minor to work with, but they didn't have Quinn Hughes out for the entirety of the power play because Quinn Hughes was in the box for coincidental minors, and after the first 2 minutes of the 4-minute double minor expired, Quinn Hughes was eligible to play again. But the Canucks had to get a whistle in order to do it. They didn't. In fact, the play continued for another 2 minutes. After the first 2 minutes, the 4 full-minute power play was killed off, and then some. Just give it a few more extra minutes before the puck gets frozen and Quinn Hughes is finally able to come back, but the Canucks went an entire 4-minute power play without Q Hughes, and it was not really the most ideal situation to watch. Eventually, though, that same Pierre-Luc Dubois that initially took down Hughes multiple times and was getting under the skin of the Canucks, he's the guy that gets the opening goal to make it 1-0 Washington with 33 seconds left in the first period. And I have to say, it's not really a great goal. The puck gets thrown towards the Vancouver net. It goes off of Kevin Lankinen and up, and Brock Boeser is there trying to glove it down, but instead of that, he ends up missing it. The puck gets knocked down in front for Dubois, who goes around Lankinen, he shoots, and he scores. Just a total colossal mess of a play for Vancouver defensively. Lankinen had no chance. The puck was deflected up and Boeser tried to knock it down. He didn't. If Boeser knocks that one away properly, the goal's not counting. Straight up. Like, that goal was preventable from a number of angles there, but it just did not go. Unlucky break for the Canucks, and that stands as the only Washington goal for most of the game. The Canucks, though, finally strike on the power play in the second period as Jakob Chychrun gets a holding call on Pius Suter. The Canucks' first power play is unable to convert, but it eventually is Conor Garland who gets himself the goal here. It's Q Hughes who takes himself the shot, and it's tipped in front by Kiefer Sherwood. Rebound out to the side, and Conor Garland puts it in. I'm actually really happy about this goal because for me, I'm playing off against multiple opponents this week in fantasy who have JT Miller, and Miller made the pass to Hughes, who took the shot before the rebound was sent over to Garland. I have Sherwood and Hughes on multiple of my fantasy teams this year too, so I was like, yeah, that's actually perfect. Miller to Hughes to Garland? Nah, sorry, it's Hughes with the shot and the tip in front by Sherwood and then Garland, so take that assist away from JT, baby. I need it for my fantasy matchup purposes. But either way, it's 1-1 in the second period, and in the third period, the Canucks actually had more opportunities than Washington. The Canucks actually had so many opportunities in the second and third. 21 shots in that second period alone. 21, 21, 21. They outshot the Caps 21-5. And in the third period, the Canucks outshot the Caps 6-2. So, sure, maybe not as much shot volume in the third period compared to the second, but still, they were controlling most of it. However, the third period comes to an end. It's a tie game, 1-1, and the Canucks in overtime end up losing because Tyler Myers, he makes a backhand pass that I actually thought was pretty good to Jake DeBrusk. It was a little airborne, but DeBrusk is not able to knock it down, and because of that, it's Alexei Protosh who ends up coming down on the rush the opposite way. And guess what happens? Protosh goes around the Canucks goal, and 3 Canucks, DeBrusk, Miller, and Myers, all follow him behind the Canucks goal line. So Protosh just throws it out in front for Dubois, who comes in, he shoots, and he scores. Easy goal. He had no contest at all in front of him. All the Canucks were completely out of the play. It almost felt like that. Remember the Jacob Markstrom 3-0 that he had to face against St. Louis the other year? Oddly enough, Tyler Myers indirectly caused that one too. But still, you know, Myers and Miller, what an overtime duo. Just transcending the Vancouver Canucks year by year in extra time. But the Canucks now have, 10 overtime losses on the season? Ay. That is, quite the number. That's 10 extra points they could have had, but were not able to capitalize on. Something is different with this team this year, man. As long as they keep on losing and blowing these games, I do think that something will have to give here, but final notes on the game. I wanted to talk about Washington a bit. I needed Karlsson to get some points because I have him on my fantasy team too, multiple as well. He got some blocks, which I'm happy about. Jakob Chychrun, actually, I thought looked super dangerous in this game, especially on the power play. The guy was very eager to get some points his way. Unfortunate that his penalty is what led to the Canucks' only goal of the contest, but ultimately this was a very solid game by Vancouver. Despite the heavy zone pressure that Washington had at different parts of the game, the Canucks, though, they just could not capitalize on what they had. Unfortunate, but that's been the story of the season so far. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.